Hey, how's it going, guys? Mush back at it with another video. We've got some absolutely massive news in this ever-evolving PC market when it comes to actually selling games online. I've been talking about it a lot, but there's a lot of competition emerging when it comes to competition against Steam. We see a lot of major publishers moving away from Steam and putting games out on their own platform. We saw it with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. That game is a Blizzard exclusive. Of course, Fallout 76, as bad as that game was not on Steam. It was on Bethesda's platform. And we're seeing all of these other emergent platforms allowing PC gamers to buy games from there. The Discord store, been talking about that. GOG has obviously been a big place to buy games for a pretty long time now. And when you look at a game like Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales, that game was promoted around being a GOG release. Yes, it did see a Steam release, but the Steam release just kind of came with no fanfare and it just came under the radar. And then, of course, you also have the Windows Store putting out some massive titles like Forza Horizon 4. However, Steam is still the place to go for a lot of these developers and publishers, and they're still making a lot of revenue off of it. But now it looks like Steam is gonna get its biggest competition yet, with the Fortnite maker and Epic taking on Steam with their own PC game store. Yes, Epic is launching the Epic Game Store soon, and Eurogamer got to speak directly with Epic, and there's a lot of information to unpack here, so I want to go over all of it. I'll leave the link to Eurogamer's article in the description box down below because that has a good rundown of everything we can expect. But there's a lot of interesting topics, especially because I just talked about Steam updating their revenue split with developers. Well, Epic is completely beating them up front, so that's a massive thing as well. But let's go over Eurogamer talking to Tim Sweeney over email. Eurogamer asked, can you say which publishers are signed up or which games it'll launch with? We aren't announcing the games just yet, stay tuned. That was said by Tim Sweeney. Then a pretty big question, why is now the right time to take on Steam? Tim Sweeney said this, quote, we've been operating a storefront up for Epic's own games for years. Now that essential features are in place, we're ready to open it up to other developers. Eurogamer also asked, what do you think Steam and other platforms are doing wrong that you can do right? Tim Sweeney said, generally, we want to enable a more direct relationship between developers and gamers and more efficient economics and discovery. Developers will be able to reach purchasers of their games through the newsfeed and, if the customer permits, by email. Creators will help developers reach games in a more entertaining and fun way so games are not so limited by storefront screen space or top chart space. That's a pretty big element, and I do think Steam has been making steps in the right direction to improve promotion of specific games. However, by no means do I think it's perfect on Steam, but it has been getting better. When asked about what is Epic's content curation policy versus Steam, here's what Tim Sweeney said. Quote, we'll have an approval process for new developers to go through to release a title. It'll mostly focus on the technical side of things and general quality, except for adult-only content we don't plan to curate based on developers' creative or artistic expression. Epic will manually curate the Epic Game Storefront rather than relying on algorithms or paid ads. That's huge. I'm not going to go through everything, but Eurogamer also asked a very interesting question, and how will you handle user reviews and vote brigading? And Tim Sweeney said this, user reviews are still in development and the store will launch without this feature. When launch, it'll be opt-in by developers. We're experimenting with other mechanisms to improve this further. I think user reviews is huge on Steam, although it could also be very, very misleading. There are games like Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a lot of games where just a bad PR storm hits and then unfairly they get a bunch of negative reviews just bombarded onto it. I'm not a big fan of that. I like Steam user reviews, they are, but you've also got a lot of meme reviews and everything like that, and sometimes they are a little bit misleading. I like to use them as a barometer, but I do think they can use a lot of work. Okay, so all of that is just general information. However, I haven't even gone to the biggest part. The revenue split is why this Epic Game Store is so interesting. Remember, currently Steam has a 70-30 split on all Unity titles and then 5 to Unreal Engine 4's percentage. However, Valve did just recently announce that games that reach north of $10 million in revenue, the percentages do alter and improve, and then when games reach north of $50 million in revenue. But here's the kicker, right off the bat with the Epic Games Storefront, you are seeing an 88% split, so 88% going to the developer, and then Epic Games only taking 12%. That is massive for a lot of these indie developers. If they want to put out their games on Steam, look, a lot of these smaller titles are never gonna reach $10 million in revenue. They're never gonna reach $50 million in revenue. However, right off the bat with the Epic Game Store, you're getting 88% of the revenue. That is absolutely massive, and I really do wonder, is that gonna make Steam alter their revenue split once again? This is again gonna put a ton of pressure on Valve to alter the revenue split model, because I could foresee a lot of major indie developers. Could you imagine a game like Dead Cells being exclusive to the Epic Game Store? Yes, it's a smaller title based on a production standpoint. However, that's also a game that generated a lot of interest, and the thing is, with this 88-12% split, it's gonna make Epic Games allow to make these agreements so much easier. And considering they already have Fortnite in their back pocket, they can already use that as a promotional tool. There are just a lot of factors to take into consideration, and I've been very vocal about the fact that, hey, I do hate games being split across a ton of different platforms, and I don't like going to Steam, then going to the Windows Store, then going to Origin, then going to the Bethesda launcher, and now going to the Epic Games Store if they create a lot of games, the Discord store. GOG is, of course, DRM free, but again, another segmentation in the market, and I said that GOG could push their own products onto their platform, Cyberpunk 2077. I would not be all too shocked if that game ends up being a GOG exclusive, but that's speculation on my part. Just based on what I see what they did with Thronebreaker, I don't think that's far out of the realm of possibility. Again, it's going to be great for a lot of the bigger publishers that are going to be able to generate a lot of revenue, but because of the way the system works, a game that's released at $59.99 would have to sell like 800,000 copies to hit that $50 million threshold just based off game sales. 800,000 copies for a $59.99 title, that's a lot of copies to sell. And the thing is, a lot of these indie developers are releasing cheaper games that might be $9.99, $14.99. How long is it going to take for those games to hit even the $10 million threshold? A very, very long time. And remember that the revenue split only kicks in after you hit that 10 million threshold. So the existing $10 million of revenue, you are seeing the original split. And if you're using Unreal Engine 4, well, the percentages get better and better. For all games, you're getting an 18% bonus off the bat. Unreal Engine 4, you're getting a whopping 23% increase. That is a massive, massive increase, especially for these indie developers, that every little bit of revenue that they can generate, that means a lot to them. Because for a lot of them, making ends meet is very, very hard as a smaller developer. For the next couple of months, couple of years, this is going to be a very, very interesting story to monitor, because for a long time, Valve and Steam had a chokehold in that PC gaming market. Sure, we have these other platforms open up, but they didn't gain a lot of traction. I think with this, with the revenue split being directly spelled out, and it's a significant difference, releasing your game on Steam might be the best idea. However, on the Epic Games Store, if there is a smaller amount of games, if promotion is done better, and it allows for quality promotion for each of the titles, I think from a publisher and developer standpoint, you're getting more revenue, you're getting better promotion. It looks like the user review system is going to be done better. However, they aren't really creating those big budget games anymore. A Half-Life 3, a Portal 3, a Left 4 Dead 3, we can say the number 3 over and over again. They're really not in that market of creating these blockbuster games, and considering Epic does have Fortnite already, again, using that as a promotional tool is very effective. With Valve, it's clear to see what their MO has been in recent years. They're just like, hey, we're gonna run these Steam sales, we're gonna make a ton of money, we're gonna take our split, we pretty much have to do nothing. But now that competition is finally arising, and I don't know how far the Epic Game Store is gonna go, but initially the information I'm seeing, it does mean a lot. We'll have to see how the Game Store turns out, because it has to be a quality platform, and I'm sure it's gonna have its hurdles initially, but see how it develops out. And on top of this revenue split, I think the big thing is if they can make those exclusive agreements. It's almost like a bunch of consoles coming into the PC market, which worded that way sounds really, really bad, but I could see a lot of these different platforms trying to get publishers to create their own games. Obviously, the Windows Store is going to have all the Microsoft published games. If Valve decides to put out high quality games, those are definitely going to be exclusive to the Steam Store. Battle.net has a finite number of games, but it's going to have those Call of Duty games. It's going to have the Blizzard games. I'm pretty sure Star Citizen and Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be exclusive to the Bethesda launcher. And what does that mean for other Bethesda titles? Could future Wolfenstein titles, future Dishonored titles, could those games become exclusive as well? I don't like exclusivity, but competition in the market is always good, and it's always great for the developers and publishers to make as much money as they can. So that's gonna end my rant. Again, Eurogamer article in the description box down below. A lot to digest here, a lot to take in, especially because Valve just announced the new revenue split, and then Epic comes out with this. A very exciting time in the market, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Definitely interested to hear your guys' input. And if you guys have a request for a future video, of course, you can leave that in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.